I use fragrant water to hide my emotions, hiding from reality by spraying scented potions. Best cheap fragrances, let's see what the internet thinks. I play the perfumed clown even though my real life stinks. I cannot guarantee that these smells will get you laid, but at least you won't lose sleep about the money that you paid. Let's project. Let's project. I hope you like these scents and that I've saved you some money and you find the video useful as well as maybe funny. Inexpensive perfumes from the 50s to today, will they help you get lucky? You can only hope and pray. They call me Mr. Smelly, I'm a man about town. When you run into my sillage, in my fragrance you will drown. Drown, 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 drown. Let's project. Let's project. Let's project. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mr. Smelly's Fragrance Review. So today I'm going to be doing a video on my favourite best value fragrances that you can buy today in 2018. Some of these, or most of them, have been featured on my channel before, but what I'm doing really here is a summary of my absolute favourites at the moment that you can buy usually online, or in all cases online for the best price, not in a shop like this. And I hope you enjoy the list. Let me know what you think of it. These are based on UK prices, but a lot of these will be available in the United States and elsewhere in the world for similarly great prices. Okay, so let's see what we've got for you then. Well, first of all, it's one of my real favourites. If you've followed my channel, you'll know I'm a big fan of this one. DUNHILL Icon, currently available on Notino for £39.95 for 100ml. I've got my backup bottle sealed there, and I originally bought a 50ml bottle of this one. So I've put my money where my mouth is, but not that much money because it's great value. Important notes on this one: Neroli and bergamot got a lovely zesty fresh opening. Also a large amount of vetiver in this one, and some ISO-E super, I think, reminding many people of Terre d'Hermès. It's also got lavender and black pepper in there, a really zingy, fresh, manly, masculine fragrance. It's different to a lot of the standard, maybe more generic smelling ones out there, and a great alternative to things like Bleu de Chanel or Dior Sauvage as an all-round masculine everyday fragrance for day or night and almost all seasons. But I think it's got a little bit more uniqueness and a little bit more character than those. It's better, it performs really well. Eau de Parfum, fantastic value. This one can attract quite a lot of attention from women actually. I was standing in the queue at the bank the other day, and a lady tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you." And I said, yes, before you ask, it's DUNHILL Icon. It's not widely known, but it's a great scent. She said, no, well, yeah, that's very nice, but I just wanted to tell you your shoelace is undone. And she was quite right, it was. Next up, a different level of value here in terms of it being incredibly cheap, because this one is £4.99 at the moment on Zara's website. It's Tobacco Collection Rich Warm Addictive from Zara. Main notes in this one are coconut, tobacco, sandalwood, honey and cedar. So as you can guess there, it's very sweet, it's rich, it's warming, it's a winter appropriate scent. It's the kind of smell that does remind me a bit of what would be a great smell to scent a room with, but also you can scent a human being with this one too, and it smells really good. Very similar to Parfums de Marly's Herod, and a fraction of the price, so worth checking that one out if you can find it. So it tends to be in and out of availability, but when it's available, it's a sensational bargain. Next up, it's a real favourite of mine. It's BOGART Pour Homme. BOGART Pour Homme from 2004, Master Perfumier Maurice Roussel created this one. Often described as smelling of cherry tobacco, or perhaps Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male crossed with Thierry Mugler's Pure Havane. It definitely has this sweet tobacco cherry kind of smell about it, even though neither are listed as notes. There are some florals in this one. There is also lavender and a healthy dose of tonka bean. So there's a combination of a sweetness. I definitely get a sort of fresh tobacco leaf accord in this one, and an underlying masculinity, but it's kind of a powerhouse fragrance for the 21st century. If you like things that are beast mode, but you don't want to smell like you're coming out of the middle of the 1980s, this is a fantastic choice. I wear this a lot and I absolutely love it. Again, I have a backup bottle. Next up, a superb all-rounder, which I feel like this is not an original choice. Loads of people mention this one, and it feels like it's almost been done to death, but it is a brilliant fragrance. It's Versace Pour Homme from 2008. Current price for this one, again, it's on Notino. I promise I'm not sponsored by them. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if I was, but I'd do it, but I'm not. It's £33.90 for 100ml, which is great value. An aquatic, fresh, citrusy, sporty, clean scent. Neroli is one of the notes in here, and various other kind of citrusy notes, combined with an ozonic or aquatic accord. Brilliant competitor to Chanel Allure Homme Sport, but at a much lower price, and arguably even nicer, kind of a little bit fresher and less creamy than that one. On to my next choice, it's DAAREJ from RASASI. In this list, I've decided not to put any clones, so we're skipping Aventus clones and other Creed clones and all those clones that are out there, except maybe this one, probably, well, it is a clone, many people say, of Valentino V from the house of Valentino, which is very hard to find now. So this is a great alternative. DAAREJ from RASASI is an exotic, spicy kind of fragrance. Some of the key notes in this one are caraway, cardamom, and vanilla. There's also some amber, tonka, and a little bit of rose in there. So it's a very spicy, fruity, sensuous kind of masculine smell that is, to me, quite a modern kind of smell, although Valentino V that it's based on, it was about well over 10 years ago that one came out. But it's a fruity, masculine, sexy kind of seductive scent, and the price for that one at £19.29 for 100ml on Notino is incredible. Next up, again, we're staying with exoticism here because it's Boucheron's JAIPUR. I've described this one as smelling like vanilla mixed with baby powder, and I still stand by that as a reasonable description. This one has a lot of vanilla and benzoin in it. It's also got some lemon, some citrus in the opening, and we have cinnamon. So this has a really spicy, exotic kind of feel again about it, but maybe leaning a little bit more towards a slightly soapy barbershop. I've said it reminds me in some ways of Brut Pour Homme from Fabergé, but if you mix that with exotic, spicy and sweet notes, you get JAIPUR Homme, a fantastic tribute to this exotic city of Jaipur in India, and priced on that one £29 for 100ml on Notino. That's the Eau de Toilette. Here's another favourite of mine, it's BULGARI AQUA AMARA. I think it's officially discontinued, i.e. not produced anymore, but there's tons of bottles still out there. I found this one on Notino was 100ml at £41.19. I've reviewed it and I really like it. Keynotes in this one include mandarin and general kind of citrus aquaticness, but the thing that I like about it is it's got patchouli and frankincense in the base, and it does have this feeling of a really nice depth, although it's very much a fresh fragrance, but it feels like it's got enough guts and enough depth to it that it would be fine for a night out or even a signature scent all year round really, although it leans a little bit towards spring and summer. Fantastic value at that price, and I think my favourite from the BULGARI AQUA line. I do prefer it to the original BULGARI AQUA even. So just a little aside or insight into my personal or private life a little bit here for you. Just recently I've cut down a bit on my drinking, as I maybe drank a little bit more than you really should, and of course drinking heavily can have bad health effects, and in fact I've heard that it can actually cut your life expectancy by around 10 years, which at one time I thought sounded like a fair trade, but I've since sort of changed my opinion, and of course, you know, it increases your risk of things like liver disease, heart disease, strokes and that kind of thing. But one thing did occur to me, has anyone actually taken note of the fact that people who drink extremely heavily very rarely die of things like old age or natural causes? So perhaps heavy drinking actually offers some protection against those kind of deaths. More research needed, I think. Next up, this is one that gets no talk in the fragrance community. Lania Smith turned me onto this one. This is Monsieur de Givenchy from way back in 1959. This is the modern reissue. I have the vintage as well. They do smell a bit different, but I wouldn't say this is necessarily worse. I really love it. It's a citrus aromatic fragrance, or maybe a chypre, depending who you ask. So you've got some citrus notes, the usual kind of ones. It's herbaceous as well. It's got an oak moss accord in there, and it's a very classic chypre kind of fragrance, a sort of green bitterness mixed with herbaceous elements, a little bit of lavender sweetness in there, and a lovely fresh citrus vibe. Very similar actually to Chanel Pour Monsieur, but I think I might prefer it just slightly to today's version of Chanel Pour Monsieur, priced on Notino £34.15 only for 100 mils. What a bargain. Classic retro scent. Next up, another retro scent, it's CAPUCCI Pour Homme. I looked on Notino again and I found this one for £16.42, 100ml. I could not believe it. Really super effervescent, zesty, zingy lime and citrus opening on this one, with some quite astringent kind of sharp bitterness about it, which I do enjoy. Again, it's a kind of a chypre stroke citrus aromatic fragrance. There are some herbaceous notes. It's got its own character then, a little bit more green and a little bit more in your face in its zestiness and freshness perhaps than Monsieur de Givenchy, but the kind of thing I would reach for in the same mood. Great bargain and very little talked about in our community, but it should be. Next up, Staying with citrus but not such a retro feel, often compared to Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino, it's Ferrari Bright Neroli, and this one was £31.69 for 100ml on Notino. You may be able to find it elsewhere. I just happened to stick with Notino because that was where I was looking. Really nice fragrance. Probably not fair just to say that it's a clone of Neroli Portofino. I don't think it is. It does have a very nice Neroli note, but a little bit more woodiness to me, and some other kind of citrus notes are in there. There's kind of orangey, lemony feel with this one, as you get with so many of them, and really some nice depth to it, great longevity, super fresh smelling, like a brilliant quality bar of soap, and you smell like that all day, or at least for quite a few hours. Brilliant fragrance, brilliant value. Next up, we've got James Bronnelly Original Eau de Toilette. Now, I had to look on House of Fraser to find this one, where I found that 100ml is £11.90 in the UK. What a great, lovely, underrated fragrance this one is, thanks to Maximilian Huesler for turning me onto this one years ago. We've got some lime, lemon and bergamot in this one. Also in the base, we have amber and cinnamon. It actually reminds me and many other people a little bit of Creed's original Santal and or Mont Blanc Individual. I think if you take Mont Blanc Individual and replace the raspberry note with citrus, you probably get this, which is a great thing. I really like that idea. It smells fantastic, it performs quite well, great signature scent, and an incredible value product that I use all the time. I'm on my second bottle. So last but by no means least, it's the powerhouse that is Bentley Intense. You can get this one for £27.66, 100ml on Notino, and it's a real powerhouse fragrance, but a powerhouse for the 21st century. One of the main notes in this one is rum. We've also got leather, patchouli and vanilla, and I think there's some herbs. I think it's basil and or sage. It's definitely a sort of herbaceous element, quite complex and rich. It's got a really boozy, heavy, masculine feel about it. It's quite sweet as well, and it does have a little bit of a leathery element to it, but it's not got any sort of old school masculine leather type smell. It feels pretty modern, but definitely boozy, powerful, rich, and really high quality niche smelling fragrance, I think, for the price. Absolutely incredible, and not going to be to everyone's taste, that one, but if you like powerful boozy fragrances, it's a sensational bargain. Okay, so there they were, everybody. Those are at the moment the ones I think are just the best value fragrances out there. They're all pretty easily available here in the UK, and I hope also around the rest of the world. So let me know what you thought of my choices. I'm always looking for new ones. I've got some new ones that I'm buying or thinking of buying that will be coming in soon. Please let me know your favourite cheap fragrances I might have missed, and as ever, everybody, whatever we're doing in life, let's project. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.